Have you ever looked into your dog's eyes and wondered how this friendship began? Not just your friendship, the friendship between dogs and humans. Because tonight, millions of dogs will fall asleep beside the people they trust most. On couches, on beds, at the foot of a child's room, completely unaware that their story began tens of thousands of years ago. At a time when humans feared the dark, when survival was never guaranteed, and when the ancestors of modern dogs weren't companions at all. They were wolves, wild, powerful, and among the most feared predators on Earth. If you were alive 30,000 years ago and heard wolves howling outside your camp at night, it wasn't comforting. It was terrifying. Those sounds meant danger. The creatures making them were faster than you, stronger than you, better hunters than you, and yet somehow those same predators became humanity's closest animal companion. But the strangest part isn't that wolves became dogs. The strangest part is that humans may not have planned it at all. In fact, wolves may have started the process themselves. And what happened next would change the future of both species forever. To understand this story, we need to travel back to the Ice Age, a world of endless cold, frozen landscapes, massive herds of animals, and small groups of humans struggling to survive. Life was difficult. Food was never guaranteed. A failed hunt could mean starvation. An injury could mean death. Every day was a battle against nature itself, and beyond the glow of every campfire, wolves watched, not one wolf, entire packs, patient, silent, observing. At first, humans and wolves were competitors. Both hunted similar prey, both fought for survival, both saw each other as threats. But something unexpected began happening. Humans left behind food, bones, scraps, pieces of meat. To a hungry wolf, a human camp wasn't just a place of danger. It was also a place of opportunity. And eventually, a few wolves made a decision that would change history. They got closer. Most wolves stayed away. The risk was too great. Humans carried weapons. Humans defended themselves. Humans were unpredictable. But among thousands of wolves, some were different. They were less aggressive, more curious, less fearful. Instead of running from human camps, they lingered nearby, watching, waiting, learning. And surprisingly, those wolves may have gained an advantage. They didn't need to chase dangerous prey as often. They didn't need to risk injury during every hunt. Food sometimes came to them. Generation after generation, these calmer wolves survived. And over time, something extraordinary happened. The wolves that tolerated humans began producing offspring that tolerated humans too. Without realizing it, nature was running an experiment, and the results would be remarkable. Thousands of years later, scientists accidentally recreated something similar. In 1959, a Soviet geneticist named Dmitry Belyaev started an experiment using foxes. His goal was simple: breed only the friendliest foxes, nothing else. No training, no tricks, no special treatment, only friendliness. What happened shocked the scientific world. Within a few generations, the foxes began behaving differently. They wagged their tails. They sought human attention. They became affectionate. But then something even stranger happened. Their appearance changed too. Their ears became floppy. Their faces became softer. Their coats developed unusual markings. They started looking more like domesticated animals, all because they were selected for friendliness. Scientists now believe something similar may have happened with wolves. The friendliest wolves didn't just behave differently, they slowly became different. And eventually, they became dogs. But dogs didn't become important because they were cute. They became important because they were useful. Imagine hearing danger long before humans could. Imagine smelling predators miles away. Imagine helping track food across frozen landscapes. Dogs offered advantages humans simply didn't have. And humans offered dogs something equally valuable: protection, food, warmth. Together, both species became stronger. The partnership worked so well that dogs became humanity's first domesticated animal. Long before horses, long before cattle, long before agriculture itself. Think about that. Dogs were with us before cities existed, before written language, before pyramids, before history was even recorded. And perhaps the most remarkable part was still to come, because eventually the relationship stopped being about survival and became something more. Today, scientists know something fascinating. When a dog looks into your eyes, both of your brains release oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, the same chemical involved in relationships between parents and children. In other words, dogs aren't simply living beside humans. They are emotionally connected to us, and we're connected to them. This doesn't happen naturally between humans and wolves. It happens between humans and dogs. Some researchers believe dogs evolved facial expressions specifically because humans responded positively to them. Those famous puppy eyes, they may have helped dogs survive, not through force, not through fear, but through connection. And perhaps that's one of the most beautiful parts of this story. Dogs didn't conquer humanity, they bonded with humanity. One archaeological discovery tells us everything. In Germany, researchers uncovered a grave roughly 14,000 years old. Inside were a man, a woman, and a dog. The dog had suffered a serious illness as a puppy, yet it survived for weeks, perhaps even months, which means someone cared for it, fed it, protected it, helped it recover. Think about what that means. These were Ice Age humans, people fighting daily for survival. Every piece of food mattered, every ounce of energy mattered. Yet they still chose to care for a sick dog, not because it was useful, not because it was necessary, but because it mattered. That wasn't survival anymore. That was affection. That was companionship. That may have even been love. Thousands of years ago, a few curious wolves stepped closer to a fire. They were looking for food, nothing more. They couldn't possibly know that their decision would change the world, but it did. Together, humans and dogs crossed continents, survived harsh winters, built civilizations, explored new lands, and formed one of the most extraordinary partnerships in history. Tonight, somewhere nearby, a dog is probably sleeping peacefully beside someone they trust, completely unaware that their story began tens of thousands of years ago, back when wolves watched distant campfires beneath Ice Age skies. But perhaps that's what makes this friendship so remarkable. It wasn't created by kings, or governments, or great inventions. It began with trust, a little curiosity, and two species choosing not to fear each other. And maybe that's why, after all these years, dogs still feel less like pets, and more like family. Ever shared a special bond with an animal? Subscribe to The Animal Connection, because some of life's most meaningful connections don't need words.